In April, Tiger tees off in the second round today. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
You want something to play with? Go and find yourself a toy. Baby, my time is too expensive, and I'm not a little boy. If you are serious, don't play with my heart, it makes me furious. But if you want me to love you, then baby, I will. Girl, you know I will. Tell it like it is.
I'm Tavis Smiley. That's Aaron Neville, recent guest on this program. His memoir is finally out after all these years, and it's quite a book. If you've not seen it or heard about it, great Christmas gift idea. Aaron's book, a lot of great books out we've talked about over the last few months on this program. And Grizel Howard, our guest in a moment, is going to tell it like it is. 35 years after we first commemorated World AIDS Day. I was thinking last night, I cannot believe it's been 35 years since the first World AIDS Day. That's 3.5 decades, and I'm fascinated to learn more from the board chair of the Black AIDS Institute about the status of black folk and AIDS 3.5 decades later. Grizel Howard, good to have you on this program. How are you today?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for being an HIV advocate.
No, it's my honor and my delight to have you on this program. So let me start with this. You've been at this for a long time as an advocate. Does it feel like that long for you? I was saying earlier that in preparing for our conversation today, I paused and asked myself, when's the last time I even heard the word AIDS? I mean, we live in a world now where at one point this was a death sentence. HIV was a death sentence. And so much has changed over these 3.5 decades. Magic Johnson, thankfully, is still with us, and others are still with us. It's been quite the journey from the Reagan era. But give me your sense of what this journey has been over these decades.
So I appreciate that you have such a broad band of knowledge on the space, Tavis, and you're right, 35 years tomorrow. And we have two things to do: reflect and then speak truth to ourselves in an unapologetically black way. What does that mean? 35 years ago, it was a death sentence for everyone. 35 years ago, the messaging for the black community was the wrong message. This was not a white male gay disease. This was an American crisis, as Jocelyn Elders shared with us. However, today, I feel like we're in deja vu, and we must level up. When you said you hadn't heard the word HIV or AIDS, you're absolutely right. And it just reminds all of us in this struggle that we have to speak about HIV every day, the way we speak about health and our financial security, especially in Black communities. Why? I got in this fight because Black heterosexual women were not at the table. And today, Black women over the age of 45 are the fastest group in America contracting HIV. And you're right, it is not a death sentence, but for some people in Alabama, Mississippi, New Orleans, it is, because many Black women are diagnosed with AIDS, not HIV, which means the earlier you know your status, the better your life will be. Yeah. And if you haven't had an HIV test, then you're not living. You need to know your HIV status, like you know your Social Security number or your PIN number for your bank card.
Mm-hmm. You said a lot there that warrants interrogating. Let me start with this. And I'm not naive in asking this question, and I'm certainly not stuck on stupid, but that stat you just offered is damning. That Black women above the age of 45 are contracting HIV/AIDS faster than anybody else. And to your point, which we'll get to in a moment, the messaging at least started out with this being a gay white male disease. So just I want to just pause for a second. Think about this. 35 years ago, as you just heard Grizel say, this disease was being presented to us as a gay white male disease. 35 years later, Black women above 45 are the ones contracting, coming down with HIV/AIDS faster than anybody else. Just think about that flip. Think about that flip over 3.5 decades, which leads to my question, Grizel. Why are Black women still contracting HIV/AIDS at that level?
I will answer the question and say we're the fastest growing group today.
Yes.
However, the number one group in America are still our young Black men who have sex with men. Mm-hmm. And so, and as you say, let's interrogate us as a Black community. The messenger always matters, Tavis. Mm-hmm. That's why you have resilience. That's why we have other clarion voices. And we're not a monolith, right? So we need every voice. And every voice should be in the HIV discussion. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, with the National Black Caucus of state legislated officials. We are educating them. We are mobilizing them because at every level, here's what we have. Young men between the ages now of 12 and 30 who have sex with men. We can't count 1, 2, 3. We can say 1, 1. Meaning for every 2 young men, one of those young men will contract this virus. Mm-hmm. Then you flip it over to what we call primetime players. You're 45 years old in America and you're lucky enough to be a Black woman. You should know, one, how you can contract HIV and how you cannot. Mm-hmm. So knowing your status and understanding the virus. We know so much about HIV, and we know nothing about COVID. So if I showed up at the house and said, Tavis, I have COVID, you'd be like, girl, let me get you what you need, get you to the doctor. If I show up at the house and say I was just diagnosed with HIV, you say, wait on the doorstep, G. So the other thing we have to do in community is what? Sterilize stigma. Mm-hmm. And so that's why you haven't heard the word HIV in our community. Yeah. We stopped talking about the painful things. Furthermore, let's keep it real. We have to also talk about the things that have just culturally happened. At the advent of HIV or AIDS, or even as, it didn't have a name early on, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and Cheryl Lee talks about that in an amazing way. She's a New Yorker, I'm a New Yorker, and we remember when it was called GRID, they didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do. Everyone was afraid, but we kept hearing, it's a gay male white disease. But there were Black women dying then, Tavis, but we didn't know. Or you were going to the hospital, and they tell you your husband died of pneumonia, and then you go home, and 6 months later you sick. Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Okay. Press pause.
Nope.
Press pause, right? And where are we today? 35 years ago, we did not have performance-enhancing drugs. Code for Viagra, Cialis, pick one. Today, we have culturally shifted, not just Black America, but America. So before performance-enhancing drugs, at some point, Papa went to the house. Today, no one has to go home. You can have the best sex life, healthy, safely, when you want, long as you want, as long as it's safely. So we have to address that. 45-year-old Black woman may be divorced. She doesn't know. She's just focused on pregnancy, not on sexually transmitted diseases and HIV.
Hold that thought. I'll come back to that point in a moment here. There's a lot to interrogate. Griselle, or G, if I can call her that, is on a roll. And I got questions, including how in fact, we go about sterilizing stigma. And she made an earlier point about how this messaging, of course, was so wrong at the beginning. I'm curious as to how it got so wrong. Again, more to talk about with Griselle Howard as we mark the 35th commemoration of World AIDS Day tomorrow. You're listening to Griselle right now on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Escalade IQ. This the intro to the all-electric Cadillac, perfected like Zoom. And on a full charge, you get 450 miles without the stop. Haiku. This is what I do. Daddy fat intellect since 92. Linked all the way back, panoramic roof. Come with 24-inch rim standard. Ooh, why? Shout it, don't kill him. Cadillac diamond in the back, cold chillin'. And when I'm on attack, on the track is no ceiling. Sky's the limit. You hear me? You hear me? Straight drop, no parachutes. Lay lines like a longitude and latitude. Dilly, beloved, clearly we're hustling. Bustin', truckin'. Cadillac, Cadillac.
For more on the Escalade IQ, visit Cadillac.com.
Available late 2024. GM estimate 450 mile range. On a full charge based on development testing and/or analytical projection. Consistent with SCHA 1634 revision 2017 MCT. Range subject to change prior to production. Annual rates may vary based on service factors, including ambience temperature, terrain, battery age, and condition loading, and how you use and maintain your vehicle.
Is your eyesight changing?
I can't read this anymore.
Don't lose hope. People just like you are working every day using Braille, screen magnification, speech technology, and other tools and blindness skills. Your eyesight may have changed, but your goals, they don't have to. We can help. Visit us on the web at blind.org. The National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Sounds different, huh? This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Griselle Howard, who is the board chair of the Black AIDS Institute. Tomorrow we will commemorate the 35th World AIDS Day. And I wanted to invite Griselle on our program to get a status update on Black folk and HIV/AIDS, and she is delivering as you might expect. So you were saying before that break, Griselle, I had to cut you off. I apologize. You were talking about performance enhancing drugs and how the culture has changed. You were making a point. Finish that point for me, please.
I'm really making the point that if we are reflective and speaking true to ourselves, the reflection is 35 years ago, we didn't have things in our lives that enhance them today, but also require us to be much more personally responsible and informed, and also be guardians of our messages. If COVID didn't teach us anything else, it provided us the opportunity for the Black people in America to demand a public health model that is responsive to us culturally, with the common sense of what we used to call mother wit or grandmother wit, and with evidence-based solutions for us, by us, about us. And then we must speak truth to ourselves. And Maxine Waters did it and does it brilliantly. Speak the truth to yourself. If you know you are man sharing, if you know you are engaged in high-risk activity, then know your risk and protect yourself, because you can engage in the activities you desire safely. And I think that's where we have the breakdown.
Yeah.
And the conversations come up, well, gee, I'm tired of seeing the commercials on TV. Do you know what the commercial is actually informing you of and not informing you of? We have pre-prophylactic and post-prophylactic biomedical inventions. These advancements are brilliant. They can, in fact, will suppress a person's viral load in HIV. And they can live healthy, loving lives.
To your
but our community doesn't know that.
Yeah, to your point, let me do this right quick, and I'll move on to some other things I want to cover with you. What is your assessment of the advances? We know the trauma, we know the drama that still exists, we know the risk that you just discussed that still exists. But what do you make of the advances we've made over these past 35 years?
We have advanced to a space where you can live a healthy, happy life that is not a death sentence, have children, and great relationships. What we know is that information, that scientific data has not trickled down and impacted the community the way it has, just straight talking, the white gay community or the white community at home. The white community is virally suppressed from HIV. The United States government has a goal of 2030. We're not going to make it, Travis. We're F- today.
And we're not, and we're not going to make it. Why? Primarily because of lack of awareness.
Lack of awareness, lack of understanding, stigma. Stigma.
Yeah.
We have homophobia, transphobia, chauvinism in our community in a way that will, and shame. Let's talk about shame sometime, right? So the things we're discussing are the conspiracies kind of silence and secret. When's the last time you had a conversation where someone was talking about having sex safely? Let's introduce again. 35 years ago, people who were swinging, they all dead. Now in our community, again, the word polyamorous, ooh, really, okay. And then sex parties, no judgment. Let's do it all safely. And what we know today is some of the youngs are actually engaged in it more safely than 45 and over.
Yeah.
So this is an intergenerational opportunity, very much like the civil rights movement. Many people are not speaking about it, but tomorrow on December 1, not only will we be reflective and commemorate the advancements in HIV science, we must also uplift Rosa Parks.
Yep.
So it's not maybe by chance that there's an intersection of what? A civil rights movement and, up until COVID, the most deadly and frightening virus.
I see what you did there, Griselle. I like that move. I like your get down. I see how you wove that December 1 Rosa Parks moment in with World AIDS Day tomorrow. I see you get down, and I like it. Let me ask you, since you raised it earlier, how one it's a beautiful phrase, but a lot easier said than done. How does one go about sterilizing stigma?
Speaking truth within the race. It is unacceptable that we stratify the race. We can't unzip the black suits, so let's all get in the same pool and say, I may not understand a non-binary. I may not understand all the new pronouns. I may not understand any of that, but I do understand all of us wanting to be healthy. So once we understand the public health model as it is today and what we need to be as black people in America and live healthy lives, live well, fair? Diabetes, hypertension, what did we learn? Those things were the worst things to have during COVID. Well, here's the secret. The mRNA virus known as COVID may actually be the grandmother of HIV. It's the same type of virus, but we haven't distilled that information in our community in a way we can understand it. Now, the stigma sterilization is going to require us to hold a lot of people accountable. And I know you're a PK as well, but we have to start from the pulpit to the whole house.
I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to ask you, and I literally, if you were in the studio, you could see my notes. I just scribbled something while you were talking. I didn't want to get too far afield from, and that is, and I'm thinking of all the people I've talked to over these 30 years of my career. My career seems to overlap this HIV/AIDS world today, 35 years ago. But I'm thinking of all the people I've talked to, Gazelle, over the years, and early on, and even beyond early on, there was a pretty robust indictment of the black church. You recall that very well. And since you mentioned that I'm a PK as well, where is that conversation now about the role, the culpability, the complicity of the black church, the responsibility in this moment?
We can uplift some ministers, pastors, and spiritual leaders. Those there in L.A. and around the country, we can certainly uplift some, but the black church as a whole still is in the same space. And the faith-based community must be held accountable from the pulpit as well as the congregants. And black women must take the lead in this space. Now, some of my sisters get angry about this, but being a black feminist, I must tell you, if the black woman is not leading the sterilization of stigma, who will? That's just culturally what happens in our community, right? Aren't we the grapevine?
Oh, yeah.
So if Big Mama says it's unacceptable, now we have momentum. And if Auntie said, Mama said, now we leveling up. And then you can't say the derogatory words you want to say about your cousin. So you have great people around, but we have to galvanize now, convene ourselves, and understand that in 2023, on December 1, persons most impacted by HIV look like you and I.
Yeah.
Regardless of their sexual orientation.
I'm still processing and noodling and frankly laughing at that line you used a moment ago about Big Mama. I had a Big Mama. My Big Mama passed away basically at the age of 90. Some years ago, I miss her every day.
What was her name?
Daisy Mae Robinson. Glad you asked. Daisy Mae Robinson. Or Miss Daisy, as everybody in the neighborhood called her. I just called her Big Mama. And I was fortunate to have my Big Mama live with us. So certainly for the last maybe 10 years or so that I was at home off to college, Big Mama lived with us. And so I had the great honor of not just visiting her in the summers in Mississippi for many years, but when she got up in age, she left Mississippi, came to Indiana to live with us. And so I had her in the house and spent a lot of time with my Big Mama. I miss her dearly. But I love that line when Big Mama says that we got momentum. I was just saying to a guest on this program yesterday, G, I was saying to a guest that movements are very rare. Social movements in this country are very rare. And my frame is you have a moment. If you're fortunate, G, that moment builds momentum, and that momentum turns into a movement. Moment, momentum, and movement. I was just saying that yesterday. Here you come now with your Big Mama line, which I love. That may be the line of the day. Matter of fact, it is the line of the day on this program. It's the best one I've heard all day in all 3 hours. When Big Mama says it, we got momentum. I love that. I just had to.
So let's make that for March 2 for Women's History Month, baby, because we have to sterilize stigma.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Let me circle back. I got 4 minutes left here with you. Let me circle back to the point you made earlier that I said I wanted to get to, and I will now. And that is how 35 years ago, we got the messaging so wrong. You've already indicted it. I'm just curious now as to how you think and why the messaging was so wrong coming out the blocks.
Well, that was just because of the data. That was the largest population. White gay men at the time were the largest population that it appeared to be impacted. And you must also remember there was a lot of fear. I mean, medicine is not usually so miffed, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
There was just so much fear, so much of the unknown. And you and I both are compassionate people, so we can understand that. But today, the other issue that we must say is the challenge is today, the funding in HIV has been very politicized. And it was almost like a seesaw. So if it was a young gay man, the money went there. Now we say MSM, so the money is focused on young MSM. The money today is trying to really galvanize the community around the transgender community, transgender male and transgender female. Well, now just level transgender and then layer that with race. How many times you've been in a conversation about the transgender community with black people? Now, let's swing over to my cohort, heterosexual black women. We are misinformed and either stigmatized. Why? When I started being a volunteer at the Black AIDS Institute, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, and all the other agencies at NIH and HIV, the first thing people came to me and said, "Oh, are you all right?" Like, this is not the sexy place to spend your time. So there's a stigma when you say the word HIV, or people today say, is that still around? Or, gee, nobody wants to talk about HIV. Well, I'm telling you, we all must speak about HIV in the black community. So maybe this is our civil rights move, huh? No one is coming for us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And we must hold the government accountable.
Yeah, and to your point, right quick, how do we do that in this moment, 35 years later?
We must vote, and we must educate the state, local, and elected and federal officials. Listen, the money for HIV is going away. 43, President Bush in March was confident PEPFAR, which is one of the greatest things of his presidency, along with the Honorable Condoleezza Rice. PEPFAR is always reauthorized for 5 years. Tavis, it's only been authorized for 1 year.
I saw that.
And it's his party.
I saw that.
It's his party. And so the House of Representatives on the domestic policy on HIV, reauthorization of Ryan Whitehoney, they don't want to give us any money. They want to collapse HIV into a commutable disease. Hear this, if nothing else. HIV, you may contract HIV through sex or through bodily fluids, but HIV is not a not an STI.
Yeah. Nope, I hear you.
You see the difference?
I get you.
Okay, it's a chronic disease. And it's a chronic disease and a medical public health model that neglects black people. So if black people commit to sterilizing stigma, understanding our wellness opportunities collectively, and then respecting the segments of us, the homosexual, the transgender, the non-binary, heterosexuals, collectively, we can virally suppress our community.
Yeah. You are yet another example, G, of why I love New Yorkers. Y'all just give it straight, no chaser. That's that New York in you. It's just straight, no chaser, and I love it. I celebrate your work and witness today and all the years you've been engaged in this fight to enlighten, to encourage, to empower, and to inspire us and to keep us honest. Tomorrow marks the 35th commemoration of World AIDS Day, and I am grateful to Grizel Howard, who is the chair of the board for the Black AIDS Institute. Grizel, love you. Thank you for your time. All the best to you.
Hey, thank you so much. And I will let Andy know you calling me by what he calls me, Andy Horn.
There you go. You do that. I love you, G. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
What's up, party people? It's your favorite MC's favorite rapper, MC Light here. And we're celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, authentically powered by Cadillac. And we're going to take it way back to where it started. It was only fitting that hip-hop began with teenagers at a back-to-school jam in the rec room of a South Bronx apartment complex by an 18-year-old brother. By the way, I'm also sure he had a Cadillac parked outside. He noticed the energy on the dance floor when he switched between two turntables, extending the beats, repeating the breaks, and never losing the rhythms. And that was the birth of hip-hop. And from that moment, it took off.
For more on how Cadillac is celebrating hip-hop's 50th, visit Cadillac.com/audacity.
I'm Ray Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. JP Morgan Chase is warning inflation could rise more and a recession is still possible. Governments across the world needing money for their militaries and the address of energy crisis would contribute to inflation. We take you over to the Peach State now, where state lawmakers are returning to the Georgia state capitol to come up with new district lines. A judge ordered legislators to create different maps after it was ruled the districts drawn up in 2021 illegally diluted black voting power. Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger has died at the age of 100. Kissinger was best known for his guiding American foreign policy during the turbulent period of the Vietnam War. And that's the latest. I'm Ray Harris on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
The ocean absorbs a lot of our carbon emissions with the help of marine plants and animals. Sea otters, for example, help restore kelp forests and coastal wetlands that trap carbon. Learn more about these fuzzy climate warriors at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Easy game for the Lakers last night in Detroit. They win by 26 to extend the Pistons' losing streak to 15 games. D'Angelo Russell had a game-high 35. Not much time to celebrate. The Lakers play at Oklahoma City tonight. OKC is the number 4 team in the Western Conference. The Clippers also get an impressive road win last night. They win by 14 at Sacramento. The Clippers had only 5 turnovers the entire game. A dominant performance from Kawhi Leonard, 35 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. Best game for James Harden as a Clipper, 26 points, 6 assists, and 5 steals. The Clippers are at Golden State tonight. Tiger Woods played 9 holes Wednesday in the first round of the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas. It was Tiger's first PGA event since he dropped out of the Masters in April. Tiger tees off in the second round today. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice and injustice, the courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities, and sports figures, elected leaders, and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Ariva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Ariva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Sponsored by Boost Infinite.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The City of Los Angeles Civil Rights Department and its LA Repair Participatory Budgeting Program invite nonprofit organizations to submit proposals to turn community ideas into reality. More than $5.4 million is available to make a difference in the Arleta, Pacoima, Westlake, Skid Row, South LA, Leimert Park, and Harbor areas. Don't wait. Proposals are due on November 29th at noon. To apply, visit repair.lacity.gov. LA Repair gives people real power over real money. Visit repair.lacity.gov.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Ready to re-examine your assumptions and expand your inventory of ideas? More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
We close the show today with this. If you are a fan of the hit TV show Blackish, then you are surely familiar with the character Andre Jr., played by Marcus Scribner. Marcus joins us now to talk about his latest film. It's called How I Learned to Fly, which he stars in and produced. I ain't mad at him. He's a bad brother. It's Marcus Scribner. It's Lonnie Chavis. It's Cliff Method Man Smith and Cedric the Entertainer. Amazing cast, amazing film. Here now the trailer for How I Learned to Fly.
There's certain moments in life when you gotta speak up. Then there's these other moments when you gotta stand down. Look away.
Ever since Dad left us, I keep having these dreams.
Where are your parents?
Mom is on a holiday.
You don't talk much, huh?
Last night, though, something strange happened. That's when it occurred to me. No! Okay. That where our thought goes, the energy flows.
Are he homeless?
No, we have this. We have each other. So, we're kind of rich.
This whole thing right here, all this, see, is a spectacle.
Read it!
That you have no control over.
Read it!
The one thing you do have the power to control is yourself. When you care about the people that you love.
Sometimes when I look at the night sky, I think about how small we like to make ourselves. But I guess that's just a way of looking at things. Like, I'd much rather believe we're hovering high above it all.
See, that's how minds work.
You're
Weird. Yeah, you said that.
You're blessed.
So this is where we float, high up.
Marcus Scribner, let me start this conversation by saying it is a brilliant and beautiful piece of work. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much, Tavis. Thank you for having me today as well.
No, man, it's my great honor to have you on. As I said, it's brilliant, it's beautiful, it's masterfully written and produced, and I hope folk will get a chance to see it, and I think they'll be empowered by it, inspired by it. It's just, again, it's a good piece of work. Let me start by asking what pulled you in. I'm always fascinated by the ways in which actors make choices, producers make choices. You do both in this project, but tell me about how you got pulled into this one.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to be approached by Simon Story, who's our writer and director, and he approached me with this script for How I Learned to Fly, and at the time it wasn't named that, and he had a short that he had made prior that I also was able to see, and I was just kind of blown away by his vision. the depth of the script and the depth of the character that he was asking me to play, Daniel. And I just saw it as a really, really exciting and interesting opportunity to delve into a character I've never been able to explore before. And then to also be able to executive produce on top of that and kind of get to, see life from the other side and take on that very difficult task of fundraising and getting people attached to the project. It was all very, very, very exciting. So I think all those things combined drew me to the project, and yeah, I think it turned out amazing.
It did indeed. There's a lot to unpack here. You said a few things now I want to sort of interrogate right quick. Number one, let me start with the character you played, Daniel. Tell us about the character.
Yeah, Daniel is one of two brothers that our story focuses on. We lose our parents in a very, very horrifying way, and it causes my younger brother Eli to become mute. And that's sort of the way that he compartmentalizes and deals with the trauma of losing our parents. And then we're left to fend for ourselves. We don't want to go into the foster care system and get split up. But we're forced to live on the streets. We don't have any money to pay for our home or shelter of any kind. We're showering in park bathrooms. We're just trying very hard to make ends meet. And Daniel really takes it upon himself to raise his younger brother, which is no easy task. Like I said, he's mute, and communication is very, very difficult. So he writes sort of a list of laws for his younger brother Eli to abide by. And yeah, the story really centers around their love for each other and the difficulties that they deal with when it comes to that loss of their family, their parents, and having no one there to support them. And at the same time, it's a story of triumph. And I think it's a really sad and hard movie to watch, but also very uplifting. So I'm very, very excited for people to see it December 1st.
Yep. I must say that when I saw it and realized that this horrific death of your parents, the parents of the characters, Daniel and Eli, that this was going to render Eli mute, or had in fact rendered him mute, my mind immediately went to the story, Marcus, of Maya Angelou, and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Anybody who's read that book and knows her own story, after being raped, after what happened to her, Maya went mute for a long time. So my mind just immediately shifted to the beauty of her story and the beauty of this story. That just came to me when I was checking it out. You mentioned earlier that when the project first came to you, it was not named How I Learned to Fly. I love the film, but I love the title. When you realized that it was going to be called How I Learned to Fly, how did you process that?
I loved it, honestly. I feel like one of the core elements, I mean, you can see it in the trailer with Daniel floating above the car. One of the core elements is, I think, learning to deal with trauma and learning to deal with difficult situations. And flying is kind of how our character processes it. And I don't mean flying in the literal sense.
Yep.
He kind of leaves his physical body during his dreaming hours. And I don't know, it's kind of like his escape, his way to escape the shackles of the situation that he's in. His way to kind of, I mean, he loves his brother and he wants to support him, but, everybody needs their me time, and his way to escape his brother and escape everybody and just, be free. And so How I Learned to Fly is, I feel like it has so much meaning, so much depth to it, because the story, through all these difficult moments and the trials and tribulations that Daniel faces, he's able to hopefully come out on top and learn how to fly and learn how to soar and be able to support his brother and also pursue his education and have a place to live. And all the things that we take for granted are sort of like flying for Daniel. That just freedom. No,
it's an amazing title, and I was fascinated by your earlier confession that when it first came to you, it wasn't named that. But it's certainly a lovely and appropriate title for a film. And the more I thought about it, that's the story of every black person I know. Every one of us has to learn how to fly, and it ain't easy. when you got melanin in your skin, but we have to learn in our individual lives how to fly. It's an amazing piece of work, a great deal more to talk about with the star of the film, Marcus Scribner, How I Learned to Fly, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Do you have both Medi-Cal and Medicare?
If so, the new LA Care plan called Medicare Plus can help you get the most out of your health plan for $0.
LA Care provides personalized service to Angelinos like us.
Plus, it gives us access to doctors and specialists across Los Angeles County.
For zero cost, we get access to full benefits.
From vision coverage,
in-home support services,
to prescription drug coverage,
and a quarterly over-the-counter allowance.
plus personal equipment.
Meal programs,
a gym membership,
and so much more.
For more than 25 years,
LA Care has provided Angelinos with access to quality health care at an affordable cost.
For our families,
our seniors,
our community,
it's a plus.
It's a plus
for all of us.
Attention Los Angeles County residents. Dreaming of owning your own home? Looking for ways to generate income with your home? Or are you behind on payments and need help? Then mark your calendar for December 2nd. Join us at the Opening Doors Planning for the Stages of Home Ownership event at Magic Johnson Park in Willowbrook on December 2nd from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for workshops, a resource fair, and much more. Attendance is free. We'll have raffle prizes, food, and more. Dive into valuable resources designed to help you navigate the home ownership pipeline. To learn more or to register for the event, please visit our website, dcba.la/openingdoors. Again, that website is dcba.la/openingdoors. See you at Magic Johnson Park on December 2nd. Doors open at 8 a.m. for registration. This message is brought to you by LA County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs.
Who do you trust to get at the truth? Tavis Smiley. That's who. The conversation continues right now.
Talking with Marcus Scribner about the new film, How I Learned to Fly, premieres in select theaters tomorrow, in fact, December 1st. Marcus, say a word right quick about the cast. I didn't know what to expect when I saw a Method Man in this. So you got Method Man playing a character I've never seen him play. You've got Cedric, who obviously we love him as a comedian. As a comedic actor, and the role that he plays is anything but comedic.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing cast, but that's my assessment. What say you?
Yeah, I completely agree. I was honestly stepping on the set with Cliff was crazy because I kind of had all these preconceived notions about what a musician turned actor would be like on set, and the way that he takes the craft so seriously, the things that he brought out of me, especially in pivotal moments and pivotal scenes, and how threatening his presence was as an actor was, I don't know, I was in awe, and it was a beautiful experience to work with him, and obviously Cedric's a fantastic actor as well, and his character I feel like brings so much light to the story. because that's what I also want to reiterate to people is while this is a story of the struggle of these two brothers, it's also a story of triumph and victory ultimately. And that's something that Simon wanted to communicate heavily throughout the film is, you're stuck with these difficult life decisions and these difficult things that are placed as roadblocks in your life. And it sometimes you can't do it alone. It takes somebody reaching out who you don't know. It takes a village to raise a child, and I think that's How I Learned to Fly it illustrates so well.
You mentioned earlier that you learned a lot as an exec producer on this project. You mentioned fundraising and all that it takes to make a film like this come to life. As I said, it premieres in select theaters tomorrow, How I Learned to Fly. But a movie basically that centers around 4 black males. Now, what did you learn about exec producing a project that, again, revolves around 4 black male characters?
I mean, I live it every day, so that was nothing new. And I mean, obviously, I had some prior experience being on Blackish as well. But like you said, getting to executive produce a project like that was really exciting for me. I think it allowed for. I don't want to say that there's more inaccurate portrayals of black males in media, but I feel like ours was very authentic.
But there are, but there are. I'll say it for you. There are.
Thank you. I don't want to be too sick, but I feel like our performances were authentic, and also I think one of the coolest things was seeing that loving relationship between 2 black male lead characters who are brothers, like not shying away from that. Me helping out Eli with cleaning him in the bathroom, hugging him and embracing him and letting him know that everything is going to be okay. I think that showing of vulnerability and love from the black male community is a beautiful thing. And, having a father in my life who taught me to, never shy away from those things was really helpful. And I think, it was exciting for me to executive produce and make sure that was implemented.
No, it's a rare thing. It's a rare thing to see that kind of love among black male characters in film. I digress. Our remaining moments with Marcus Scribner when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the exclusive media sponsor of this light of ours, activist photographers of the Civil Rights Movement. A dynamic new exhibition on view now at the Skirball Cultural Center in Los Angeles. This light of ours showcases more than 150 photos taken by movement insiders from diverse backgrounds that reveal the vital work undertaken by a broad coalition of organizers and everyday people whose collective action changed America. This light of ours is one of 3 temporary exhibitions currently on view at the Skirball, which together explore issues related to civil rights, immigration, and pluralism. Tickets and more information for all 3 exhibitions are available at skirball.org. That's skirball.org. SKIRBALL.org.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look, and unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at the gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
Smart talk for curious people just like you. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Got about 3 minutes left in this conversation with Marcus Scribner. Again, the movie is called How I Learned to Fly. It premieres in select theaters on December 1st. And whatever you do, try to see this. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And I don't throw around endorsements easily, but it's an amazing piece of work. And as a black male with 7 younger brothers, I revel in the love story of these black men, and I think you will as well. That said, let me close our conversation, Marcus, with this. I mentioned Blackish earlier. Of course, you played the character Andre Jr. You mentioned Blackish, and it seems to me, and I tell Kenya this every time I talk to Kenya, I tell Kenya that he has done something. If he does nothing else, and God knows he's done a whole lot more and still doing stuff and will for a long time, but if Kenya didn't do anything else, he has given us another great black TV show that I think is already in the pantheon of great black TV shows. But you, sir, had a chance to be a part of it. So look back on it for me.
Man, it was a crazy experience. It's been 10 years now of the Ish universe for me, of 10 years of Junior. I'm so grateful for everything that's happened. It's taught me so much about the industry, about myself. And yeah, we're coming on up on the closing half of our last season for Grownish, and that'll be the wrap up of everything Ish. And yeah, I mean, it's just been. I honestly didn't realize how crazy of an impact we were having while filming because I was so young. But looking back on what we've done and talking to people in the streets about Junior and the characters on the show, it's surreal.
Yeah, no, you had an opportunity, a wonderful opportunity, and you acquitted yourself quite nicely. But you had a wonderful opportunity to be a part of something that I think is going to be classic in the many, many years to come. So congratulations on that, and congratulations once again on How I Learned to Fly. The film again premieres in select theaters tomorrow, starring Marcus Scribner, Lonnie Chavis, Cliff Method Man Smith, and Cedric the Entertainer. I highly recommend it. Marcus, you done good, man, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I appreciate you, sir.
All right, thank you, Tavis. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Good to have you on our program. That's our program for today. Tomorrow is Friday, so that means the best of Tavis Smiley will reprise 3 great conversations from this week that you might have missed, 3 or more that you might have missed on tomorrow's program. So thanks for tuning in today and all this week. And until the next episode of Tavis Smiley, you keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Ree Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. JP Morgan Chase is warning inflation could rise more and a recession is still possible. Governments across the world needing money for their militaries and the address of energy crisis would contribute to inflation. We take you over to the Peach State now, where state lawmakers are returning to the Georgia state capitol to come up with new district lines. A judge ordered legislators to create different maps after it was ruled the districts drawn up in 2021 illegally diluted black voting power. Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger has died at the age of 100. Kissinger was best known for his guiding American foreign policy during the turbulent period